Continuando con la agenda programada, invitamos ahora a subir al escenario a los señores Henry Maulik y al doctor David Hughes. Ellos van a presentar Europa, un mercado cada vez más exigente en el aprovisionamiento de arándanos. Henry Maulik es el responsable de compras de berries de Tesco plc, la cadena de supermercados más importante del Reino Unido. Lo acompañará en este bloque en una sesión de preguntas y respuestas y un verdadero honor contar con su presencia en este Congreso Internacional, el doctor David Hughes, profesor emérito de Marketing de Alimentos del Imperial College London. Los invitamos a subir al escenario. Recibimos con el aplauso de ustedes a Henry Maulik y David Hughes. Les recordamos a aquellos participantes que quieran expresar una pregunta en la sesión correspondiente, deben entregarlas a las azafatas en la sala y ellos los van a entregar al moderador correspondiente. Muy amables, y ahora sí continuamos con el IBU Summit 2016 Argentina-Uruguay.
Good morning. Firstly, I'd just like to thank the IBO and everyone who's helped organise this and for inviting Tesco and myself along as part of your great convention. And it's nice to be part of Year 6, and hopefully we'll be invited back after this speech. So what am I going to talk to you about today? Three things. So I'm going to give you an update on the grocery market in totality, growth in blueberries over the last 5 years, and then also a bit of growth in blueberries over the latest year, plus a sort of a bit around consumer trends as well. So what this graph represents is the total UK grocery market in GBP, so cash value, and the year-on-year growth of this particular market. So what you can see is in 2012, the UK grocery market was worth £169.1 billion, and that's an increase of 3.2% versus 2011. So since 2012, we've seen steady growth in the UK grocery market all the way up until 2016, which is expected to touch just over £179.1 billion. So, in essence, the short-term outlook for the UK grocery market is going to be very challenging and very, very competitive as new discount retailers have come into the market and force retailers to be incredibly competitive. So growth in 2016 is expected to be sub 1% again, so that'll be the second year running. Clearly, these figures at the moment are pre-EU referendum, so there's probably a bit of change and a bit of flex within these figures. So the positives, however, the grocery market is continuing to grow, and by 2020, the UK grocery market will be worth just over £192 billion. So very positive, but we're going through a challenging time at the moment. So the past 5 years. What does this actually mean for produce, for fruit, for berries, and for blueberries? So in 2012, you can see that the UK produce market had sales growth of 2.7%, and now we're seeing sales growth in 2016 of 3%. The same for fruit, 3.8 versus 5.1, and then berries, again one of the stars of the show, so 7.5% growth as a year-on-year change in 2012, and then in 2016, 16.8. And then fortunately for all of you in this room, blueberries again is a massive contributor to the fruit number and indeed the berries number. So phenomenal growth figures there, 10.9% in 2012, up to 25.1% in 2016, which is an absolutely fantastic figure. So just to sort of contextualise that amongst other things within the fruit category, you've got the likes of citrus that's at plus 6.8% in 2016, stone fruit minus 1.3, and then apples and pears also minus 1.3. So all of which are performing behind berries and indeed significantly behind blueberries. So blueberries actually continues to be the fastest growing category within berries, which is all very good news for everyone here. So, what is the sales split within the UK between berries and the overall berries category? Well, you can see on the left-hand side is 2012, and on the right-hand side is 2016. So, strawberries is still a massive contributor to the UK berry market, but you can see in terms of growth, blueberries is absolutely one. So, 20% in 2012 versus 27% in 2016. Strawberries is 50%, but actually recently blueberries has now overtaken raspberries as the second largest contributor to the UK berry market product split. So you've got raspberries that are now 20%, blueberries 27%, strawberries 50%, and blackberries is around about 12%. So it's 27% and it's gone up 7% since 2012, but the overall berry market has actually grown by 16.8%. So in terms of the actual volume, it really is a significant growth. And this is all in terms of cash value. So how's the UK blueberry market fared over the last 5 years? Well, as you can see on this graph, there's been some pretty impressive growth since 2012. So in 2012 it was roughly 150 million, and now we expect it to be just shy of 303 million pounds in terms of cash value. So over 150 million pounds of growth in the last 5 years, which is a phenomenal figure. It's both in value and volume, as you can see. So an additional 17,000 tonnes over the past 5 years, totaling now to just under 33,000 tonnes of blueberries consumed within the UK market. So why are we seeing these growth figures and why they're so good? Well, clearly volume is a massive part of it, and I think you can see that in terms of the figures that Dave presented, with blueberry volumes increasing massively over the past few years. And also, again, something that Dave touched on, quality and consistency of that product that is now able to get into the European market and the UK market. As soon as you put a good product in front of customers, they will come back and buy it again. I think that's definitely something we've seen in blueberries. They're more accessible, there's much more of them, and actually the quality and the consistency is improving and getting better and better. So actually, it's been brilliant growth from 2012 to 2016, but the real acceleration has actually come in the past 2 to 3 years. So if you actually look, it's pretty steady growth from 2012 through 2013 and 14, and then we really start to accelerate in 15 and 2016. So actually the difference between 2015 and 16 is 25% growth in terms of volume and value. So a massive proportion of that overall 150 million and 17,000 tonnes has been actually driven between years 2015 and 2016. So if we can continue that exponential growth, I think very like the graph that Dave put in front of you earlier, it's going to be an impressive figure. So the UK blueberry market penetration. Market penetration is defined as a number of consumers who buy a specific product at least once a year. So blueberries are actually one of the top 3 fruits to see gains in market penetration over the last year within the UK market, and actually they now have the second highest penetration amongst berries at 46%, overtaking raspberries again. So if you look at overall penetration within the UK berry market, you have strawberries at 79%, clearly with a massive domestic market and production on UK strawberries. Raspberries are at 40%, blueberries at 46%, and blackberries at 12%. So blueberry penetration is now greater than some of the other popular fruits that you might see within the market. So cherries is at 37.8%, plums is closing in on 49%, so just shy of 50%. Peaches again 48%, and then pears at 50%. So it really contextualises how blueberries have increased within the last 5 years, and particularly within the last 2 to 3 years. They are becoming a massively more popular product, and we're seeing more and more consumers in the UK buying it. Again, very much like the cash sales and the volume sales, the penetration increase from 2015 to 2016 was actually 9%. So we're really seeing significant growth between 15 and 16, and hopefully that will continue through from 16 and 17. So UK blueberry market frequency, what this means is how many trips a customer will do a year and how many times they'll be putting the likes of blueberries in their basket or in their trolley. So again, very light penetration, blueberries are now one of the most frequently bought fruits. Again, they're the second most frequently bought berry. So strawberries is 13.6 trips, raspberries at 9.2, and then blackberries down at 4.3. So to contextualise again, so frequency across other fruits, cherries is 4.5, but lemons at 6.8, and oranges at 8.5. So we're seeing some massive increase in frequency, and it really is driving that sale line. And it's all to do with the quality and the availability that we can get in. If it's on the shelf, you've got much more chance of customers picking it up than if it's not on the shelf. So, as I said, blueberries are one of the fruits to see the biggest change in frequency year on year. But again, as with the sales data and the market penetration, there's been such a significant change between 2015 and 2016 alone. So in 2015, the penetration was actually at 9.8%. So you can see there that 9% in 2012. So you've got 0.8% growth between 2012 and 2015. And then from 15 to 16, again, it really accelerated. So 1.4% in growth from 9.8 to 11.2. And again, let's hope that continues to increase throughout 2017 as well. So I'm going to talk a bit around consumer trends and what customers are actually saying or seeing in the UK, and indeed what they're looking for, and a bit what they're actually using blueberries for, and meal solutions with that. So what are the key drivers of blueberry consumptions within the UK? Well, I think as Dave touched on it, there's a lot around health benefits and it being a superfood. Superfood in the UK is a great word, and it pretty much just gives product a license to sell more. People love the marketing, and if you call anything a superfood, then you're definitely going to get customers to pick it up because it's deemed exceptionally healthy. Very versatile and convenient. There's no real preparation that you need to do with blueberries. Crack open a punnet and start snacking. Kids are now, parents are buying them much more for their children. A lot to do with the versatility and the convenience of them as well as them being healthy. Instead of them eating a packet of crisps or a bar of chocolate, actually it's much better for them to eat blueberries because they taste great and they're actually healthy. As I've said, much better quality these days, and it's to do with all the varietal development that we've seen over the coming years. And then again, they're much more accessible to UK consumers. They are better value for money. They are broadly aligned with all of the other berry fruits in terms of price points on the shelf that you'll see, and customers are no longer having to pay a premium to pick up blueberries. So what are the most popular blueberry occasions within the UK? So it depends how early you get up. It could be 6 AM or it could be 7 AM, but breakfast is one of the biggest ones for UK consumers. So significantly overtrade on breakfast versus other berries. You've got morning snacking, again because of the convenience and the perfect on the go. Very easy just to buy, bring along to your place of work and eat when you're feeling particularly peckish. Desserts, so accompaniments in puddings, and then finally afternoon snacking, again as I mentioned for the convenience. So the top 3 blueberry usages, 60% is still on their own, so people are just buying a punnet and eating them as they go throughout the day or as a snack, on top of cereal and on top of porridge. So you can see 60% though is people buying them for snacking, and I think that all falls in line with the better eating quality of the fruit. You put better eating quality, people are then want to snack on it as a healthy alternative to a Mars bar or a packet of crisps. And then finally, just we did a couple of focus groups a few months back, so just a few shopper thoughts on blueberries and actually what people think of them. So kids at school prefer them to apples, which I'm sure most top fruit growers aren't particularly happy with, but everyone in this room should be. Add them to porridge or smoothies. Fashionable and trendy. Crunch on the outside. Hopefully if they've got the good shelf life they'll be crunchy. And very versatile, and then again the health messages and brain food. So it's very easy for people to get drawn in by the advertising and consume their blueberries. So in summary, the UK blueberry market is growing very, very quickly, and actually over the past year in itself is growing massively, is really accelerating and starting to grow. So there's a bright future for the UK, and we're very excited to see the 2017 figures. And again, thank you to the IBA for inviting Tesco and myself along. Thank you very much.
It's question and answer time. So while you're just before you come up with your question and answer, let me just get started with Henry. Yeah, thank you very much, Henry, for a very good presentation. My question to start would be, if you look at the blueberry offer on the retail shelf in the UK right now, how do you think that might change through time? And I'm thinking in particular that will we see the same sort of premiumization that we've seen in other categories? You know, the old good, better, best offer. What do you think?
Is this working? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we have to look to improve and differentiate and continue to innovate. I think it was really interesting what Dave was saying about the likes of Korea and Asia and the usages that they actually have for blueberries and the different ways that they find to market them. What we can't have is a race to the bottom within the UK, and us not being able to get the right value for both the consumer and for the grower. So I think the likes of good, better, best that you've highlighted, we need to do. And the more premium product that we can put in front of UK consumers, the better. So I think sort of upper tier, so above your entry price point or your core tier, has got a big future. Particularly, I believe with larger sized berries, there's something that you can premiumise within that, and equally just with the exceptional eating quality of the berries as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course, you're not responsible for processed the berries.
No. So I'm purely responsible for fresh berries.
Right. Okay. All right. And remember, you're supposed to be doing some work out there, so get yourself organised with some questions. Yes, please. There's one down. Wait till somebody comes with.
Good morning. What are the qualities that the British consumers are looking for in blueberries as far as organoleptic qualities, like tartness or sweetness or crunchiness? What is it that they're most looking for in the berries?
So this will clearly be my personal opinion of the UK market and my perception. I think if I look at some of the complaints data that we might have and some of the market information, there's a lot around the texture, so customers do really enjoy a really good pop, and actually would sometimes preference pop over, let's say, the blend of, or the levels of sweetness or acidity. You've got different consumers within the UK. Berries is typically bought by slightly elder audience than some other fruits, and actually they don't mind the balance of tartness and of sweetness. I would say actually getting the right balance in flavour is the most important thing. So you'll definitely have some people that will go, right, I just want something that's very, very sweet, and that's what I want. But equally, you get other people that are slightly more traditional, or even myself, that would prefer a balance between sweetness and acidity. But actually having that texture there is hugely important. And I think being able to have the crunch and bite into it, it's juicy, is massively important. So certainly shelf life is a key factor.
What about colour?
We don't really see too much, I guess, variation in colour within the UK. Mainly, I think, because Steve does such a good job of grading it out, so it's all very consistent. So I think you will get the odd red bump on the bottom, but bloom is quite important. I think people perceive it as being fresher when there's a bigger bloom on the fruit, which isn't necessarily true. But yeah.
Yes, please. One and then two. Can we just do this? The guy in the front, and then. Hello there. In the front. In the front.
Buenos días, Juan González. Usted habló de dos parámetros, la excelencia y el calibre grande. La excelencia evidente es un buen principio, pero cuanto más arriba vayamos en la excelencia, más creamos una segunda categoría. Y si queremos que efectivamente un mercado siga creciendo, ¿cómo llegaremos a ser una buena transición entre un crecimiento y una búsqueda de excelencia? En Inglaterra también había en su momento una gran demanda de excelencia para la uva, y tanto hemos pedido excelencia que los productores tuvieron que ir a buscar otros mercados, porque llega un momento dado donde la excelencia es un buen principio, pero muchas veces es difícil llegar a alcanzarla, o no todos los años tenemos una excelencia. Gracias.
Okay, it's a great question. I think what the question is, how can we aspire to continue to have excellent eating fruit all the time, and actually with the volume that's produced it's difficult, and actually the standards that are required are very difficult. But it's very challenging. Clearly the consumer wants the best possible fruit, but actually consistency of eating is much more important than the excellence, as you pointed out. But actually, if you can continue to deliver a consistent fruit, that's going to be hugely important. I think the main issue that the UK is facing at the moment is actually availability. And that's availability of excellent producing fruit, and also availability of good produced fruit. I think the gap in the market on blueberries is very, very significant in terms of how many times a customer can go into a store across the UK and actually be able to buy what they want to buy, whether that is excellent fruit or whether that is good or adequate fruit. So it's very challenging. I think my question back would probably be, where's the right balance between fantastic flavour and quality, but also delivering the customers volume. So, you know, you could ask 100 customers, what would you prefer, to have no blueberries or average tasting blueberries? And I think obviously some of them would say that they would be happy to have no blueberries, but then equally there would be other people that say, no, I want to be able to buy blueberries for 52 weeks a year. So it's a challenging one.
Queremos informar que, como tenemos tiempo de más, para aquellos que deseen hacer una pregunta, si no lo han hecho en forma escrita y si les ocurre alguna consulta en el momento, levanten la mano, les vamos a acercar el micrófono inalámbrico para que puedan evacuar cualquier inquietud. Ahora sí, doctor David Hughes.
Hi. Since the Brexit, the bond was lost value against the US dollar. How has the shelf price behaved since then, both in US dollars and in pounds?
Is it the shelf price, did you ask? Yeah, Brexit's a very interesting one. Yeah. In terms of shelf price, we really haven't seen an awful lot of difference. Certainly within Tesco, you've seen no impact. And even within any of the other big four retailers within the UK market, there's been no difference in terms of shelf price. Clearly there has been an impact in terms of the currency, and we buy a lot of fruit from Europe, and we'll start buying a lot of fruit from South America now and South Africa, and without that it is going to affect what we see. In terms of passing that on to the consumer, that's not always the right thing to do. And actually, because of the competitiveness of the UK market, it's actually probably not something that is going to happen. I mean, I'd love to have a crystal ball and be able to see what's going to happen in the future, but unfortunately I don't. So I believe, provided the market continues to stay as competitive as it is, then shelf prices are also going to remain fairly flat, and the retailers, as I think Dave mentioned earlier about retailers using blueberries to be a loss leader, that may well happen a lot more, because the retail prices, particularly in the likes of Aldi and Lidl, everyone can see it, they are hugely aggressive and very well priced.
And remember, Brexit in the short to medium term is really about exchange rates, actually. And don't be surprised to see the pound strengthen, because the anticipated economic collapse didn't happen in the first 2 months, and the market is now starting to take a different view on the value of the pound. I've got a question here which is a great one. How aware are consumers about blueberry varieties, and do you see any trend in these?
That's a great question. It absolutely varies between consumer to consumer. I would be very surprised if a significant proportion of the UK population knew anything about any kind of variety across any kind of fruit. We do look at sort of focus groups to understand where someone might pick up Jewel because they like that variety, and someone might pick up Emerald because they like that variety. Absolutely, there'll be people out there. The majority of them are probably sat in this room because they understand the varieties and what they like and they don't like. So, at an absolute guess, I would say well under 5% of people are shopping by variety, particularly on something like blueberries. It's really coming into the forefront of the UK market now. I think if you look at potentially something like a UK strawberry, then people might understand more that El Santa's a very popular one, or Sonata's another one that they like and they've bought previously. But blueberries isn't really as established as some of those other fruits that have been in the marketplace for a lot longer. And I think as we continue to go on this journey, particularly the acceleration we're seeing at the moment, we will see more varieties coming into it. At the moment, I believe that the consumer trusts the UK retailer to deliver them a blueberry, and actually they want to buy a blueberry and they'll leave it with the experts to say what variety should and shouldn't go into a pack.
Acá, una pregunta. Sí, Henry, hemos estado hablando de aspectos de calidad de la fruta. ¿Qué hay de la tendencia en UK y especialmente en los retailers en cuanto a requisitos de buenas prácticas o de responsabilidad social concretamente para poder llegar a ser proveedores calificados de los retailers en Nuka?
Yeah. So I think in terms of the ethical and the sort of the sustainability question that you asked, it's massively important to UK consumers. Clearly, each individual retailer will have various different standards and various requirements that have, or indeed varying levels of importance. I think that the UK market as an overall, the technical standards and certainly the ethical standards do need to be very high. UK consumers want to know that their fruit and what they're buying is not only fresh but has also come from an ethically viable source and something that has all of the correct standards. Not particularly my area of expertise, but certainly I know that it's incredibly important to UK consumers, and equally there will be some that are significantly more like-minded than others. You have the debate of whether or not air freighting production is correct. People are very wary of their carbon footprint and actually will choose to eat more locally produced products than they would from, say, further away or air freighting. But yeah, corporate social responsibility is a massive part of any sort of UK retailer.
And remember that the green bar, if you will, the green bar is going up. And producers often say, well, yeah, who's going to pay for it, blah, blah, blah. And actually, you don't get a premium for that. You get a discount if you're below the bar. So people increasingly expect more green attributes for products. And that is just going to continue to go up. But thanks for the question. Let's have one down. I know there's one in the middle. Who's got the... Whoever's got the microphone can talk.
Henry, can you expand on, you said in the UK, it's mostly the elderly population, that's the key driver, purchaser. In the US, we're finding it's the females, the ladies that are educated 25 to 44. That's one. And the other question is, what's the per capita consumption in the UK?
In terms of per capita consumption, I'm not entirely sure. Steve, you might well know that.
500 grams.
500 grams. As regards to consumers that are actually buying it, like the US, absolutely you've got that 25 to 44 mothers that are buying it for their children. But actually I think 40 to 45% of overall sales are actually coming from people that are 55 plus. I think that will change over the coming years because you have seen such acceleration in blueberries before, and probably historically they were more of a luxury item and indeed more expensive than, say, a strawberry or a raspberry might have been. So it would have been the people that have got the disposable income to be able to buy blueberries. So certainly I would absolutely expect that to change over the coming 2 to 3 years, and I think it's already starting to shift. But as we stand now, it is still it's berries as a whole that's leaning towards the more elderly generation.
Thank you. Now, who's got the...
Yeah, I've got it. Henry, just a question on organic production or interest in organic, and what is the likely growth of that and markup for the producer?
Well, in terms of growth, organics was quite a big area for the UK market up until 2008. And then the UK went into recession and households had less disposable income, and actually it's seen as more of a luxury. Organic fruit in the UK market is probably growing at the same rate as blueberries. It's absolutely double digit. And again, it's down to the quality and the availability that you can put on the shelf to customers. In terms of the markup that a grower might see, I mean it's going to be market led at the end of the day, and actually whatever price the grower wants to sell it at or the seller wants to buy it at.
Thank you. I'm trying to get the microphone down the front here, but it seems to be out of my control.
Okay, Henry, question for you. So you were kind of describing, the tiered marketing that occurs in the UK, and Dave Brazelton was describing how, varieties can contribute a lot to differentiated product quality. And I'm curious how your direct sourcing strategy fits with this kind of differentiated premium tiered product.
In terms of the way that we would buy the product.
Right, working directly with growers. I'm just a little curious, how you see the future if you're going to kind of have two different types of suppliers, one being direct, less differentiated, and then maintain some kind of premium supplier as well.
Yeah, I think in terms of the way that we tier it within the UK market, or certainly within Tesco, is actually it is done by variety. So variety X will go into the tier that is there to combat the likes of Aldi and Lidl, and then variety Y will go into what would be the Tesco. And you can see that across the likes of Marks and Spencers and Waitrose as well. In terms of the direct sourcing, the reason we want to get closer to producers is actually so that we can have these conversations around varieties, and that it's actually not I have this variety and I'm planning on planting this and this. It's being able to have that open dialogue with the grower that says, well, what do Tesco customers want? What do customers that UK retailers want? What are they looking for in varieties? And we'll go and plant, and it can be a much more joined up and aligned business. So you've got direct, where it's anything that pretty much doesn't have a license, and then you've got the other approach that you spoke about, which is also hugely important, because less so within blueberries, although it's definitely going to start coming into that. But strawberries and raspberries is immensely important in terms of having the likes of Berry Gardens, as you're well known, to get the Driscoll's product or any other kind of breeding programs. So we're clearly very close with them, and we want to be as integrated as possible with them. Then equally, where there's more public and open varieties, I want to be able to have that conversation with the grower. And equally, quite often when we go and see growers around the world, they'll say, what do you actually want us to plant if we're going to do a program?
Okay. I think we're just being told that they'll chuck us off the stage. Henry, I think perhaps we can give Henry a round of applause for...
El agradecimiento a los señores Henry Maulik, Dr. David Hughes, por este interesante intercambio de opiniones sobre el negocio de los arándanos en Europa.